Welcome to this edition of the Pandesal Forum. I'm Rod Cornejo, your moderator. Before I begin, let me just state some rules. No? Number one, we are not a political forum. Okay? We welcome any party, administration, or opposition to be our guest. We are not openly supporting any politician or political party. So we are apolitical, okay? So I hope the NBI hears that. Okay. Guys, we have a very unique press conference today because we have young people. I belong to the Jurassic generation. I'm 75. But all these people are below 30, right? Okay, okay. No, really, really. This is the new, ito ang kinabukasan ng ating bansa. Young people who have courage and conviction. Okay, first of all, let me introduce them one by one. Of course, you're all familiar with this, I would say, with this brave network called Peanut Gallery Media Network. Okay. Peanut Gallery. Maybe we can ask him later why he called it Peanut. Why not Peanut or why not Champoy? Okay. Okay. Second, I would like to just say that we have a wonderful mixture of guests. No, we have somebody who's a lawyer. We have a lady lawyer. We have a TV host. We have a beauty queen, no, among us, and of course, we have a training coach, right? A training coach. Ah, okay. Wow, you wear two hats. No? Okay. Okay. So without much further. And of course, our topic today is something that would interest the public, especially in this time. So on that note, I would like to start by asking the founder of PGNN, MN, to please say a few words.
That's me.
Sige, please.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be invited to the place where Jesus Volsis has his press conferences. So thank you. No, we're very, very honored to be here in all seriousness. No, so I want to let you know that before we start, I think as many of you know, we're currently in the middle of a lawsuit with former Speaker Martin Romualdez. But I'd also like you guys to know that we have a gag order currently from the judge, meaning we cannot legally talk about the elements of the case in any capacity, and we fully intend on respecting the judge's wishes. But we would like to take this opportunity to at least say this on this platform, that ever since the arrest happened and ever since the lawsuit happened, the outpouring of support from everybody, from every socioeconomic demographic. I'm talking about verbal support, financial support, words of encouragement, both on social media and especially in person. Everywhere we go, from barber shops to, from barbers to security guards to, people at the Rotary Club, immigration, everywhere we go, it has been really moving. It's been really inspiring. So we wanted to take this opportunity, to really humbly and sincerely give our most heartfelt gratitude to everybody who's been showing their support, because it's not been easy. We're up against a monetary and we're up against a financial Goliath. Somebody who was once the most powerful and influential politician in the country. It's not the case anymore, thankfully, but going up against somebody with that stature and that kind of influence has been challenging. So the outpouring of support, really from the clear majority of Filipinos, has been really breathtaking. And I wanted to, just take this opportunity to say that we're very thankful. Like, I mean that with my entire heart. So,
thank you. Well, let me also introduce to you the lady who is also a lawyer and the host of Hey Attorney. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Attorney Bernice Piñol.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm mainly here just to make sure everything's legit. No, but I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, everyone, for the support. And we ask that you continue to do so in the spirit of, nationalism and patriotism and really what's going on in our country, especially with the damage that the flood control ghost projects has caused. Let's never forget that what it's all about. In the pursuit of justice against Martin Romualdez, it's really all about that. So thank you for listening, and we hope that it's going to be a great morning for all of us.
Thank you. And can we hear from Miss Global herself, Miss CJ Hiro? By the way, what is CJ?
Oh, it's Camille Jensen. Yeah, because my middle name is Jensen. Yeah, so Camille Jensen Hero. Hi, I'm very happy to be here and to be in the company of you guys. Alam ko marami ang medyo siguro nagtampo because when the arrest happened, marami nag-reach out to ask for a statement, and of course, hindi, what do I say? We cannot grant them. And of course, the priority at first was the safety of everyone. We all know naman that in this job, di ba, laging may threat sa atin. So we had to secure everyone first, especially my kid. And now that we are here, we're more calm now. Alam na natin, we have a better gauge of who we are up against, and we're not backing down. We are gonna keep telling the truth.
Thank you. Okay, last but not least, the gentleman on the extreme right, who looks like a painter, an artist, but actually he's a filmmaker, Mr. Jordan Sebastian.
Magandang umaga, magandang araw sa lahat. Ako po si Jordan, the Dreamer Sebastian. Andito po ako kasi sinusuportahan ko ng buong puso ang PGMN, si Franco, si Attorney at si CJ dahil bumabangga sila sa isang dambuhala na napakaraming pera. Pero, malapit na! Thank you, Ombudsman! Okay, papasalamat ako dito unang-una sa inyo, mga press, mga kakampi natin. Dito po kami na timingan lang, kami yung nasalang na lumaban at bumangga. Pero narirespeto po natin na iisa ang ating hangarin na matanggal ang matanggal ang corruption at bumagsak ang mga dapat bumagsak at mabalik sa sambayanan ang lahat ng ninakaw para talagang yumaman ang sambayanang Pilipinas. Salamat po!
Thank you. Okay, based on the media advisory na nakuha ninyo, we'll be talking about, of course, the flood control issue, the impeachment, of course, without being subject to sub judice, and of course also, unfortunately, the former speaker, Romualdez. So on that note, freewheeling tayo, no? So anybody can start and give their views and insights and recommendations. Okay. So let's start first with the artist.
Open lang?
Any issue you want to bring up?
Ako, unang-una, may gag order daw eh. Okay? Pero gusto ko sanang pag-usapan talaga yung mga nangyari at ang dami kong alam. Pero respeto natin yung judge. Pero gusto ko lang nga sabihin is, eto na yung panahon. Ito na yung panahon dahil sa mga ginagawa natin, bumabangga tayo at ini-expose natin at tuloy-tuloy lang, walang pagod, hindi na sisindak. Let us just be consistent, and I believe na if we do so, yung architect ng corruption will have his time in court. And because of that, I believe from the bottom of my heart, it's going to be a domino effect. Diba? Kailangan kasi yung ulo eh. Okay? Of course, merong sinasabi, paano yung Pangulo and all of that. Okay? He will have his day for me. Pero ngayon, realistically, eto ang pinaka-realistic. Pero don't get me wrong, I want to state for the record, hindi ako galit kay Martin Romualdez. In fact, gusto ko magkabati sila ni Franco. One of these days. Freedom of speech, boss. Freedom of speech. Pero yun yung hangarin ko, magkabati-bati. Pero kasi ako, like Nelson Mandela, I'll end with this. Nelson Mandela believed na kapag ang sistema, everything is corrupt. Even the corrupt are victims. So, I want us to approach this, everything that's happening with the plunder, not with uncontrollable emotion, but with sound reason and faith that this will all come to pass and we will truly achieve what we all want, prosperity for every Filipino. Salamat.
Sa akin, siguro, I want to start with, we have to choose kung sino, and we have to be very discerning kung sino yung pinapakinggan natin pagdating sa interpretation ng kung ano man ang nangyayari, either sa flood control, sa impeachment, or sa ibang mga issue. Because, tulad nga ng nasabi ni Franco dun sa isang episode niya sa PGMN when he talked about Martin Romualdez, he has the biggest troll farm. And I actually have evidence of that troll farm. And ito ay mga ordinaryong Pilipino, and I think we are aware naman na merong mga nababayaran na mga influencers, di ba? Let us be very discerning kung papaano nila ini-interpret or iniiba ang interpretation ng batas. And tayo mismo, gumawa tayo ng sarili nating research. Kasi with social media now, marami ang nabago, di ba? Yung truth, yung sources ng truth, yung interpretation ng mga information, ng data na natatanggap natin, parang free for all na, di ba? So hindi na lang siya limited dun sa traditional na kilala natin na media. So now, mas nagiging aware na tayo doon sa impluensya ng politika, ng mga politiko, ng pera, pagdating sa narrative na natatanggap ng taong bayan. And that's why we are seeing a shift dun sa sino ang pinaniniwalaan ng tao, ano yung attitude ng mga tao pagdating sa media. And when I say media, sa traditional, sa malalaking media, or dun sa mga bagong media, maging discerning tayo. Let's do our own research, intindihin natin yung mga issue para hindi tayo nadadala doon sa mga narrative o yung mga propaganda na alam naman natin ay pinupondohan ng mga malalaking politiko dito sa bansa natin. We have to search for the truth, we have to speak the truth, and we have to do something about the truth. Dahil wala nasa point of no return na tayo, namamatay ang mga tao, may maraming services ang hindi umaabot sa taong bayan, ayuda tayo ng ayuda, nasa ng middle class, nasa ng tulong para doon sa mga empleyado, hindi ba? Yung mga nagtatry magsumikap. Ang corruption, hindi lang siya sa taas, bumaba na ang corruption. Just the other day, may nagsabi sa akin, pumunta siya sa PhilHealth para magbayad ng contribution para dun sa empleyado niya. Yung binayaran niya for May, hindi ni-record. Binulsa daw. So, I'm not accusing anyone. No? This is just something that I was told and I have yet to verify it. But yun ang sinabi sa akin. Yung binayaran niya for May, binulsa nung kahera sa PhilHealth. And they said that they don't have the payment on record. Buti na lang, nasa logbook na nandun siya. So yung corruption nasa pinakamabababang level ng gobyerno, ng government services, at hindi aabot dito, 'di ba? Kung hindi rin tayo, yung mga taong bayan, hindi tayo papalag. We have to say something. We have to speak up. We have to fight against corruption. And nakakatakot siya. And right now, I have like a first-hand experience of how scary it is. But we have to do it. Kasi point of no return na tayo. Either labanan natin or wala, we all die. And when I say die, I mean that like our dreams, yung future natin. I'm a mother of a three-year-old girl. She has naglagay siya ng car niya sa bulsa ko. Hindi kami naghihiwalay. And I do everything for her. Nag-decide ako when I was pregnant with her, I decided ayoko na mag-media, ayoko na mag-work, I just really want to be a mother. But hindi pwede na nakaupo ka lang and you know a lot of things with my background both sa media and politics. Mahirap na hindi ka magsalita kapag may alam ka. It's really scary, but you have to do it. Otherwise, my kid will inherit the Philippines na talagang walang-wala, di ba? That everything is gonna be is shitty a bad word? Everything's gonna be shitty. Nothing's gonna work. I talked to a foreigner one time, sabi niya, the corruption in your country is nothing like the corruption in the US. At least in the US, it's very corrupt, but they have something to show for it. May mga tulay, may mga daan. And may system na nagwo-work kapag may bagyo. People know what to do. Malapad yung mga daan. Hindi ka makakakita ng nakatiwangwang na project. That's very rare. And there still is a sense of community. Pero hiyang-hiya ako when he said that because it's true. There's so much corruption in this country and they have nothing to show for it. The government has nothing to show for it. Ang hirap magkasakit, ang hirap magkaroon ka ng extra gastos. Pipiliin mo yung pagkain or sometimes project ng anak mo over pagkain. It's not a good life. I'm not rich at all. Galing ako sa hirap ko. Naramdaman ko rin, naranasan ko rin yung nag-evacuation center, naranasan ko rin na yung magulang ko mangungutang para sa tuition namin. Nasabihan na kami ng pare that if you cannot afford yung tuition dito sa private school, di umalis kayo. Your mom being told that sa PTA, nakakahiya. So I know the feeling. I've been there. I'm still there. My family is still there. Nakaangat lang ng kaunti, di ba? Dahil nakapagtapos yung mga bata, mag-aral. But it is a struggle that is familiar and real sa maraming Pilipino. And the level of disconnect dun sa mga politiko na who say, we speak for the taong bayan wants this, ito ang gusto ng taong bayan. No! You do not speak for us. You do not experience traffic. You do not experience having to fall in line for everything. You do not experience that. Lahat kayo may privilege. So, we are here. Hindi po kami ang kalaban. Hindi kami kalaban ng gobyerno. Kalaban kami ng corruption. Hindi kami kalaban ng mga personalidad. Kalaban kami ng corruption. And I am not scared of anyone. I'm a hero by blood and by name. So, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I know I'm good at it. I know I'm an honest person. I'm not scared of anyone. I'm gonna keep fighting. And I hope lahat ng mga may impormasyon, say it, share it. And together we can win this fight against corruption.
Thank you very much. I think she just gave the real State of the Nation address. Okay, may I ask now, Franco, before, can you also mention about the gag order? Because that bothers me.
My lawyer literally just said, don't say anything. So that's why she's here to spank me. I can't.
So wala tayong demokrasya kung ganon. No?
I literally can't talk about it. I'm so sorry.
Let me just say something. No, the gag order covers the initial case filed against them, PGMN, and then which I might be part of. So am I part of it already? No comment? Okay. All right. No comment. But hindi lang po ito ang kaso laban sa amin. May kaso ng cyber libel recently, si Martin Romualdez laban sa amin. And hindi ko alam ba't ako kasama ulit doon. And then we also have a lawsuit naman. We can say that, no, attorney? The other lawsuit? We are facing a lot of lawsuits right now, a lot of pressure, but thankfully marami po talaga yung mga tumutulong. And I don't think Martin Romualdez realizes that even his colleagues are very willing to get the information out there. No, yung mga nakukuha natin na information, this is not just from us. Yung mga information po na nakukuha namin for the episodes that we are doing, ito po ay galing sa taong bayan, ito po ay galing sa whistleblowers. At least I can speak for myself. Lahat po ng episode na ginawa ko on PGMN, lahat po yan may ebidensya. I actually brought all of them there. My 2 pa siya before nangyari lahat yan. Lahat po yan, ganyan po ako, nag-aaral sa bahay. Hindi po ako yung inutusan lang, labas mo to, and then you don't do your own. No, I'm not like that. I do my own research. Lahat po ng sinasabi ko, backed by evidence, and that is why no one has ever sued me for lying. No one has ever sued me for saying the wrong thing. Nagagalit sila sa akin because I said what I said and they did not like that.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Babanta, huwag ka lang magbanta. Ha? Okay.
What's that, sorry?
Huwag ka lang magbanta, Mr. Babanta.
Thank you, and great work, CJ. So I think it is undeniable that Martin Romualdez is the single most corrupt politician of the 21st century. I think that is indisputable and unequivocal. I also think that people who say that, yeah, I mean, the Office of the Ombudsman called him the master plunderer. He's currently the central figure in the flood control scandal. All of these were set on record by the people in authority at the moment, and I think everybody agrees. If you disagree with that, it's either because you're really stupid or you're paid, by the Martin camp, right? I also think that people who don't think that public perception plays a part in the decisions of the powers that be, in terms of Martin finally meeting justice, I think they're wrong. I think that public perception plays a massive part. Now, I understand whether you're a loyalist, a DDS, a PINK, or an apolitical person, or somebody who's independent of any of these political parties. I understand that every now and then we all fight amongst each other, maybe quite frequently. But the fact of the matter is, I think that every person from every color, from every region, from every socioeconomic demographic, and so long as you are not paid by Martin Romualdez, you believe that he is corrupt, right? You believe that Martin Romualdez is a bad person, and that no one has stolen more from the country in the last 30, 40 years than him. So, that said, I'll keep mine shorter than CJ's because she's a much better speaker than me anyway. That said, I think the message that I'd like to tell everybody is don't let up. Don't let up, because the Ombudsman is so close. The Ombudsman hears you. I'm not friends with him. I've never met Boying in my entire life. But based on every conceivable metric from people who I do know that know him, people who work at the Office of the Ombudsman and the DOJ and the OP, they're all so close to getting this done. And imagine if we can finally, get the worst of the worst in terms of corrupt politicians, finally, in jail for plunder, finally behind bars. Because if we don't do this, look at the future we'll be leaving for our kids, that we as a nation cannot hold accountable our biggest villains. If we can't do that, then what are we even doing, right? We're so close. So my message to everybody is public perception matters. Your voices matter. So with us this close, with the country and the Ombudsman and justice this close to finally giving Martin just exactly what he deserves, not an excess of punishment, but just exactly what he deserves. We're so close to this, so please don't let up. Don't let up in terms of your rage and your voice and your outcries and all that stuff. So that's it.
Thank you. Hey, attorney, what's your view?
Well, just to clarify about, prohibiting them from speaking about our ongoing case before the court, it's really the principle of sub judice, right? That we want the courts to, not yet, that's why I'm here. I'm gonna be very strict. So we want to respect and honor the court. We believe in the justice system. We hope for the justice system in the Philippines. And so, yeah, we cannot speak about it. But don't worry, as soon as it is over, we will have another press conference about it. And so, I'm not gonna say a lot. I just wanna say that, I'm very proud of my clients, who are my colleagues, because I'm also an anchor, that there's just so much persecution against them, in the legal sense, in every aspect. And as to the cyber libel case that CJ mentioned, I really see it as being weaponized. Cyber libel as a law is very good, but it's being weaponized by politicians. When in fact, the threshold against politicians should be so high because they hold public office. They should not be so thin-skinned or onion-skinned to receive criticism. But here they are, lodging cases left and right against people who speak against them about things that are in relation to their public office. So that I find very repulsive. And yun nga, parang reminder din sa mga kababayan natin na huwag kayong matakot sa cyber libel. Panoorin niyo yung episode ko sa PGMN. Ano ba yung mga steps? Paano ba? 'Di ba? So iwasan natin yung mga konklusyon na walang ebidensya. Be like a CJ na she does her homework. Ready siya na meron siyang ebidensya. Kaya she just laughs at the cyber libel cases filed against her, or one case pa lang. But yeah, so be ready with the evidence. 2 cases na pala, oo. Yeah, and she just laughs about it because she's ready to present to the court the evidence that she's using for her allegations. So it's really a double-edged sword, no? Our free speech. So don't abuse it also to say bad things and lies, but also don't naman silence the people who are criticizing the government for
Jesus
things that
Francis,
we
take note.
for things that we deserve as taxpayers. So do not relent on doing that. And just study the cyber libel law. Ano ba yung mga elements niyan? Ano ba kailangan mong gawin? And here's one tip I can give you. Ask questions. Diba? Instead of making a declaratory statement, totoo ba? Diba? Or you can say like Jordan, allegedly. Diba? So totoo ba na ganito, master plunderer talaga siya? So those are the hacks that I can share with you. But just be ready with your evidence, or just voice out your concerns without giving accusations. So there are many ways around it. Ultimately, do not be afraid of cyber libel cases by politicians because kayang panalunin yan.
Thank you, attorney, for setting the principles, the rules. Now, in the spirit of free speech, okay, I would like to ask you questions and then just answer, okay, without using bad words, okay? Okay, first of all, what is your impression on a scale of 1 to 10 on the defense and on the prosecution? What is your insight based on what you've seen on television? On a scale of 1 to 10, how impressive is the defense and the prosecution? Please.
Sorry, okay, I'm going to start because I have to preface everything, right? So, just in reference to anything about BBM Sara or even Lenny Robredo, I'm going to let my anchors and my attorney speak for themselves. But this is just my personal stance, okay, right now. I want to be very clear about this. So currently, I'm in the middle, as I mentioned, I'm in the middle of a lawsuit with Martin Romualdez, who is a dollar billionaire with the darkest secrets. And currently, because of his situation with the ombudsman and, like he can't run to the pinks because from what I hear, Lenny Robredo wants him accountable. Sara Duterte will never forgive him, so he can't run to the DDS. The first couple hates him now, cannot run to the loyalists. The Office of the Ombudsman is now legitimately after him. The government of U.S. President Donald Trump has revoked his U.S. diplomatic and tourist visas. So currently he is in a state of true and inescapable desperation, and that makes him very dangerous. So me personally, because we get thousands and thousands of comments on PGMN every day, and many of them are toned in this fashion. Why are you going after Martin so hard when you're not going after BBM? Franco, why aren't you holding BBM accountable? Why aren't you, calling BBM out for this when you're calling out Martin for that? Well, I'll tell you, and this is me being very honest. Because of this current war with Martin, where, I have to, it's a daily, constant bombardment of lawsuits, troll farms, death threats, copyright restrictions, our social media pages getting attacked, a necessity to make sure that we have security all the time, making sure our families are in order, all that stuff. It's an unrelenting barrage of attacks coming from a bottomless pit of resources. Martin is a very difficult enemy to have. Well, for all the people in the comments that are saying, why aren't you attacking BBM or Sara or Lenny or whatever? Well, my situation is very different from yours. My situation is vastly divergent from your situation, especially if you're, just being sarcastic or antagonistic behind a keyboard at home, and I want to make it crystal clear right now that I cannot, and I do not want to, not even attack, but even criticize BBM, Sara, or Lenny at any point. Because why would I want to make more enemies? After I'm fighting Martin Romualdez at the moment, why would I want to make more enemies? Why would I want to make an enemy of the most powerful person in the country, or the most powerful man and the most powerful woman, or perhaps the future president and the mayor of Naga? Yeah, I have currently right now, me, and I'm speaking as, Franco and PGMN, my anchors can speak for themselves. They can say whatever the fuck they want. Sorry. They can say whatever they want. But me, yeah, but me personally, as Franco Mabanta, I have one enemy, just one, and that's Martin. But apart from that, I have no intention of even commenting about, in a negative way at least, about BBM, Sarah, or Lenny, I will say nice things about all three of them. Okay, that's my because I'm not stupid, guys. There has to be some level of pragmatism, right? That's, I'm not stupid. All right, so yeah, that's it. But apart from that, these guys can say whatever they want. So just to be clear.
Franco, you know who your enemy is, huh? Okay, but you segue to Romualdez, because my question was, how do you find the defense and the prosecution, no? But before that, since you mentioned the ombudsman, is this for real, or is this another stage play?
Yeah, okay, so I have an answer. Hello? Again. I think it's real. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's absolutely real. I think for context, by the way, we were not fed these questions ahead of time, but I think it's a fantastic question. I think a lot of people are skeptical. For context, I think a lot of people are cynical about whether or not Boying Remulla will actually go after Martin Romualdez, because I think most people know that they were once very close. They're fraternity brothers. I think, I could be wrong, but I think Boying got appointed because of Martin's vouch. I could be wrong. And they were once so close that they used to go on vacation together. I think that's well documented. And then something happened, you know. But so I'm basing this on corroborated sources that are all identical to each other, from very good friends of mine that work at the office of the ombudsman, that work at the office of the president, and that work at the DOJ. And I got married 4 months ago, and 5 senators were my ninongs, and several of them know Boying personally, and they all told me the same thing, that the rift between Boying and Martin is absolutely real. It is so real that Martin is currently in a state of paranoia, and that's understandable because he's a paranoid person and his situation merits paranoia. He's allegedly having Boying's movements monitored. That's how bad it's gotten. There's also allegedly a big wall in their fraternity between people who are siding with Martin and people who are siding with Boying, and they can't talk to each other. And the other piece of information that I received is that in the office of in Malacanang, that there is now a separation between people who whoever's working at the office of the president is disallowed from talking to anybody in Martin's camp. So there is a legitimate, I know I have sources that tell me what happened between the first couple and Martin, the reason why that rift is real. So I kind of know what happened there, based on reliable secondhand information from multiple people. With regards to the fight between Boying and Martin, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna pretend like I know what happened. But if I were to guess, because I'm just guessing here, this is just speculation, but because of Martin Romualdez's undeniable track record of betrayals, of him being a traitor, him betraying his mentor Gloria Arroyo for the speakership of the House, him betraying Amy Marcos, creating the big rift between the presidential siblings, him betraying Sarah and BBM, who were once really good friends as president and vice president, him betraying Zaldico, completely throwing him under the bus the moment it got inconvenient to be his friend, him betraying everybody. He betrays everybody. My guess is that he betrayed Boying at some point, and it made it personal. So that's one. Number two, I also think it's real because I think Boying doesn't need the money. He's in that. I'm just being completely honest. This is just my objective opinion. Like I said, I don't know Boying personally, but I think that makes Boying very unique because Martin. If you ask 100 out of 100 politicians, Congress, Senate, all those guys, you ask them if Martin is capable of bribery, and I'm telling you right now, 100 out of 100 of them, 100% of them will say yes, that he's capable of bribery. And I think that Boying is in a position right now, not only because it's the right thing to do, but because he doesn't need it, he's financially secure. I think it makes him very unique in that he's more or less immune from bribes from Romualdez. The third reason, and this is personal information I received, so this is from one of Boying's best friends, and then also this is from one of my ninongs who was a senator, that also said that, this is just me, sharing this, when Boying Daw got cancer a couple of years ago, I think he was healed of his leukemia 2 years ago. It really changed his perspective on how to, be ombudsman. From what I hear was A couple of years ago, I think he was still DOJ secretary at the time. Please fact check me if I'm wrong. He was in the hospital for a month and nobody could visit him. And there he was typing out the new criteria in terms of how to get a plunder charge turned into a conviction. Because the reason why he was doing that, at least from what was told to me, is that there were so many plunder charges that the moment they were filed were either immediately dismissed or eventually dismissed because they were flimsy and they were weak. And what Boeing wanted was to elevate the standards, elevate the criteria, so that when people were, because there were some people who were clearly guilty of plunder, but because the cases that were filed were so weak, they got dismissed immediately. And I think, and maybe, who knows, maybe when Boeing was writing those new standards, maybe he had Martin in mind. So I think that also that experience when, he maybe perhaps felt he was gonna die, I think it gave him pause and made him look at the world from a lens of what's important, what's really important. Because I don't know, I think a lot of people when they're close to experiencing death or death scares them, that's what happens to them. I know that's certainly what happened to me when I went to rehab or recently when I went to jail because of the Martin thing. You come out looking at the world very differently. You come out looking at the world from a lens na what's important. And I think that, in some capacity, I wouldn't underestimate Boeing Remulla's capacity to do the right thing in this moment. So yeah, those are my reasons. I think he's financially secure. I think there's something personal with Martin. I could be wrong about that. Please, I don't mean any offense if I'm wrong. Third is I think he's really doing this because it's the right thing to do. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so you're saying that he's a changed man, huh?
I think, well, I mean, let's also look at it with some level of practicality. I know that, he's not perfect. I don't agree with some or many of the decisions he's made.
Yeah.
But in terms of, let's just also be clear about this, in terms of going after the biggest villain, the most corrupt Philippine politician of all time, Boeing is in a very special position at the moment in terms of he can see this through. He has the competence and the stamina, and I think the determination to see this all the way to the end. And just because of that, Boeing, he's in a position I want to defend. It's a position I want to help. It's a position that I want to protect. Because if any other person, somebody, let's say, who's more prone to bribery, or somebody who's, that's why Martin wants to get him impeached. Diba? Martin's trying to get him impeached because I mean, yeah, we know it's Martin, right? So Martin wants to get him impeached because Boeing seems impenetrable at this moment. If we're, I think Boeing's thinking about his legacy. He's going to the United Nations, creating a Southeast Asian League of Offices of the Ombudsman. I think he's thinking about something that will outlive him or at least outlast his term. And because of that, I want, just especially in terms of Boeing going after Martin Romualdez, I want to help Boeing in any capacity I can, even if I don't know him. And I think everybody should feel the same way. Yep.
Okay, you want to say something? Please. Short.
Ako naniniwala na seryoso si Ombudsman. One, I was there with kumbaga nakausap namin yung isa sa mga BFF ni Boeing. Ako personally nakausap ko. And number one, hindi naman tanga yung Pangulo eh. Tsaka hindi tanga si Ombudsman eh. Hinabol nila yung mga kalaban eh, di ba? Yung mga nag-o-oppose sa Pangulo, nag-o-oppose sa corruption. Kinulong nila si Jinggoy, kinulong nila si Marcoleta, si Bongbong, ngayon si Defensor. Tapos hindi nyo ikukulong yung alleged, di ba? Alleged pa rin ba? Alleged pa rin. Yung pinaka quote-unquote architect and mastermind, di magwawala yung mga DDS niyan. Di ba? So, para sa akin, they have to do this. Yun yung paniniwala. Personal rin yun, personal. Pero yun nga, nakausap namin and ako, nakikita ko sincerely, kailangan nila, they have to do this or else, lalo magkakagulo eh. And I think in fairness dun sa ombudsman, I think he's smart enough to know what he has to do right now. And dahil tumatagal rin, na-appreciate ko na tumatagal yung pag-file, pero I'm hoping it happens before the SONA na talaga ma-file. Pero once na naniniwala ako na once they do this, at least alam natin to a degree, masasabi natin sincere yung paghabol talaga against corruption. Yun na po.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
have
please.
one thing to add. Ako, skeptical ako, pero maniniwala lang po ako kapag pinangalanan niya yung mga nagbabalik ng pera, magkano yung binalik na pera. Especially, remember, nung start ng flood control scandal, sabi niya, may isang dating congressman ng Quezon City na involved sa flood control at nagbalik na lang ng pera at sinabi niya hindi na lang siya tatakbo. Pangalanan niyo po, sir. Kasi hindi po enough na nagbalik siya ng pera. Pangalanan niyo po so that yung taong bayan pwede siyang singilin. Yung taong bayan alam ang ginawa niya so that in the future, alam niyo naman mga politiko, ba't niniwalaan ba natin yung mga promises nila? Kung naniniwala ka sa promises ng mga politiko, aba, hindi ko alam sa'yo. Pero ako, hindi ako maniniwala. So yung sinabi na hindi na siya tatakbo ulit, kawawa ho ang taong bayan kung hindi nila kilala kung sino ang taong ito. Pangalanan po ninyo dahil part po yon ng accountability.
You know, CJ, you'll make a very good ombudswoman.
Hindi pinangalanan
Ay, sabihin.
pero ang clue na binigay, dating congressman ng Quezon City. Hindi niya sinabi ang district eh.
Oh, sige,
Pero
okay,
dating
okay.
congressman.
Okay, may I segue to the impeachment, no? Not to discuss the merits of the case, but to get your impression, Special Attorney, on the strength or weaknesses of the prosecution and the defense.
I think that both legal teams are excellent. And I call it out with one-on-one between Attorney Chel Jokno and Attorney Poa. It was really excellent argumentation, very diplomatic, very calm, but so substantial and so meaty. And so I was thoroughly impressed with both of their, performances. But of course, malaki yung nakasalalay dito, no? This is not just a debate or an oration. But I feel like both legal teams are equally strong. I just see that the defense team is really going after the technicalities, the procedure, and it's a very smart strategy. So for now, I went with Attorney Chel Jokno just because he presented more jurisprudence and he was really able to argue and rebut everything that Attorney Poa said. That was for the, for last week. But for now, I think they're both great. And I commend the parang legal prowess ng both parties. Yeah.
No comment.
No, ako, I'm sorry, I have my personal biases. Anyone who has anything to do with Trillanes, I will not support. But if we're just talking about the lawyers, they're very good. Pero pag pinasok natin yung element ng mga congressman na who praised Martin Romualdez during the campaign, na binigyan sila ng bilyon-bilyon, milyon-milyon pagdating sa mga soft projects, yung mga AIX, TUPAD, what are the others? MAIP, yung mga yon. I don't know, for me, nawawala kasi yung element ng we are just doing this for the good of the country. So kapag tinanggal natin yung politika, or sige, tanggalin natin yung mga politiko doon sa takbo ng impeachment ngayon, the lawyers both for the prosecution and the defense, they're very good. They're very good. And I think, of course, lahat tayo may biases, no? Some would say, bakit ganyan ang defense, di ba? Parang lahat na lang kino-question. And then you have yung prosecution naman, we have our own observations or personal biases about how they conduct things. But to be fair to all of them, they are representing their clients and their cases na sobrang galing. And don't you just wish na wala na lang politiko doon? No? Sana puro totoong lawyers na lang. But yeah, we'll see. Again, like I said earlier, di ba? we have to be very discerning kung kanino nanggagaling yung narrative. Kasi katulad nung kay, I actually shared this sa social media, no? Kasi one of my obsessions really is going through like statements of people, ano yung mga sinabi, and reading between the lines, ganyan, obsession ko talaga yan. And remember, si Las Cañas, ang Senado, under si ano pa noon, si Ping Lacson, yung committee ni Ping Lacson mismo ang nagsabi na hindi credible ang witness na ito. And then just today, I think yung sa affidavit na binasa nila yesterday of Las Cañas, may sinabi siya doon, very particularly sinabi niya that there's like a gas station in front, was it Caltex, no? There's a Caltex daw in front of a mall in Davao City. There's no such thing. Sabi ng mga taga Davao, never nagkaroon ng Caltex sa tapat, di ba? So, little things like that, if you are trying to remember them from memory, you should not be getting those things wrong. So, sige, it's one thing na binasa nila, may statement siya, but tayo mismo dapat naghahalongkat din tayo kung ano ang totoo dun sa mga detalye na yon. I think yung kay Ramil Madriaga, he mentioned like a mall in Lubao. I'm from Lubao. We don't have a mall in Lubao. So things like that, no? Yung mga little details like that, as mga consumers of information, we are responsible for the information that we make part of our truth. So it is our responsibility as consumers of information to make sure that the information that we retain as truth or we judge as truth, may basis talaga. Kasi otherwise, yung perception mo, mababago talaga eh. Kung tatanggapin mo as is, yung lahat ng mga statements and you don't ask yourself, wait lang, ano ang detalye dito na totoo or hindi totoo? And for me, ang trick sa akin, yung mga specific details na sinasabi nila, check them. Check with the locals, check with the people who are in the know. Kasi malamang sa malamang, dyan natin makikita kung totoo yung sinabi nila or hindi.
So credibility, ha? Okay. Now, okay, may I change the subject now? On July 28, magkakaroon ng SONA, right? SONA. And the INC is also staging a very big rally. Gentlemen, ladies, what do you expect BBM will say sa SONA? What do you anticipate? Sige, CJ.
Hopefully that Martin Romualdez is in jail. I hope that's gonna be part of the SONA, or at least that there's a charge against him. But, we see naman kung paano I wanna say, and this is, again, a personal take on it, nakikita kasi natin na naghahabol, optics-wise, pagdating dun sa achievements, no? We all know that the economy is not doing good. We experience it. Ang laki ng tinaas ng gasolina. They said, okay, we'll try to make it lighter for the Filipino people. So 3 days, gagawin natin 3 days imbes na one time, big time ang bagsak. Magkakaroon tayo ng mga another round of ayuda. Saan galing yung pera for the ayuda? Magpapamigay tayo ng bigas. Nakorap pa, pati yung bigas, yung supplier, kulang ng 2 kilo. Like I said, ang corruption bumababa talaga eh. So, maybe the president means well, but as a learned and informed public, we see what those are. They're for optics. We want real change. We want real programs. And I feel bad for the president that a lot of the things that he probably wants to do for the country, I don't know him personally, he's your friend, not mine, but I criticize him. But thank you, PGMN, for allowing us to do that. Sana may totoong programa. I've always been against the ayuda culture sa bansa natin because these are Band-Aid solutions. No, actually, hindi sila Band-Aid solutions. These are opportunities sa mga politiko para magpagawapo, magpaganda, pumorma sa mga taong bayan. And it's so insulting na parang, oh, ito, binigyan kita ng 6,000. Then what? And during the campaign, ang daming nagreklamo na ang dapat nilang matangkap, 5,000, na nakuha na lang nila 2,500. Hindi pa tayo gumagawa ng sistema kung saan diretso aabot sa mga recipients yung or sa mga beneficiaries ang ayuda. Dadaan pa sa politiko, dadaan sa DSWD, dadaan pa dun sa kung sino ang congressman na mas malakas para sila yung bibigyan ng mga ayuda. We cannot ignore the fact that these things happen. Hindi to fair na napapamigay ng maayos kasi may hand pa din, may impluensya pa din ang congressman. Kung sino mas malakas sila ang may ayuda. I think si Bernadette Herrera, marami ng mga congressman na nagsasabi nito, naka-FLR yung mga proyekto nila. Even yung mga medical assistants, naka-FLR lahat. Ano ibig sabihin ng FLR? Kapag ikaw ay ordinaryong Pilipino, sasabihin sa'yo for later release. Pag ikaw ay isang congressman na naka-FLR ang budget mo, both for infrastructure, soft projects, including health, financial assistance, sa mga constituents mo, you know what FLR means? It means you will never get the budget. Kaya hirap na hirap yung mga congressman natin. Marami ang nagsasalita naman sa kanila. Ang problema lang, hindi na pakikinggan, hindi natin na-amplify yung mga sinasabi nila. Imagine, ikaw congressman ka, may constituent ka na lalapit sa'yo, even yung medical na budget para sa medical ng mga constituents mo, kailangan nilang lumuhod. 'Di ba? Kung kanino man para bigyan sila ng budget. Saan fair 'yon? Saan ang justice doon? Wala eh. So until magkaroon tayo ng sistema na walang magdidikta kung sino ang mabibigyan, pati yung kung sino magkukwalify sa 4Ps, may politika din. Until maayos natin yan, matanggal natin all together ang impluensya o yung dadaan pa doon sa kamay or opisina ng mga politiko, yung basic na mga services na yan, yung mga financial help na entitled naman yung mga Pilipino, I wouldn't believe that the politico or whoever is in charge is really serious about a corruption-free Philippines or a government that really cares for its people. Malalim ho yung galit ko dito kasi hindi lang, pag galing ka sa hirap, alam mo lahat yon. Kapag nakausap mo yung totoong tao, alam mo lahat yon. And the fact that they have the gall, yung kapal ng muka, na sasabihin, yung taong bayan, ay, bleep. No, you do not speak for the taong bayan. Hindi mo ina-address yung ganong paghihirap nila. Yung ganon na magluluhod ka pa para bigyan ka lang ng tulong dun sa entitled ka naman na makuha. You cannot convince me that you are doing something for the country. I'm sorry, I'm not
Okay.
saying that this is all like
It's well said, CJ.
Pangulo po ha.
I agree with
Lahat
you also.
to, lahat
Yung
to.
ayuda is not good, no? I mean, in my opinion, no, it's like conservative bobo without undermining the needs, no, of the poor. Anyway, I would like now to open the floor to the media for all of our questions. Please state your name and your question briefly, okay? And address to whom, okay? You're the first to raise your hand, please.
Joe Matapos po from DCRG. Sabi niyo po kanina na may gag order po kayo sa court. Pero bakit po kayo nagpatawag ng press conference? Gaano ka-importante itong press conference?
No, actually, we didn't call for this. We were invited. We were invited to come here. We literally had no intention of holding a press conference. We've never done it before. PGMN has its own voice, and it's rather impactful and influential. We have our own platform, but I'm an old friend of Wilson Lee Flores, and I'm a new friend of Justin Chua, and they are tremendous. They were very generous. They suggested this idea, and we just said yes. We were supposed to speak about the case, but then the gag orders is brand new. So we want to respect the judge. So obviously, we can't legally mention anything. Apologies. I hope we didn't disappoint you.
Okay, so this is not a press con, but a media forum. Tama? Media forum. O sige. Where we can discuss openly issues of national interest. Any more questions?
Sabi po kanina ni Mr. Franco na ang nag-iisa pong ninyong kaaway si dating Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Ako lang, sila marami silang kaaway. Ako isa lang.
This press conference, hindi ba wala ba rin itong pagliganti o ng pagkakataon na makabawi ka?
Sorry, what do you mean? In terms of what? Like,
Makapagsalita.
this one? No, that wasn't the intention. I mean, like, look, okay, people can criticize PGMN and say we're biased. I mean, I think there's no such thing as unconditional objectivity. I think as human beings, we are naturally inclined towards subjective bias. The key, I mean, if you think that Fox News or CNN or here in the Philippines, Inquirer, GMA, ABS-CBN, Rappler, or Billionario, or any of those guys, if you think that they're objective and unbiased, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's not true. Everybody's biased. The key, in my opinion, is to be self-aware of your biases, be open to your audience about what those biases are, and then you can honestly embrace those biases. That's right. At PGMN, what I want kasi, is I want to have a 20, 25 anchors with a vast difference of biases, and they all cancel each other out or balance each other out. That was always the goal. Now, sorry, what is your question, sir? Now with this, it is really, what's the word? Okay, I'm going to use the word silly, and this is really a euphemism. I think it's silly for me to even pretend that I am being objective, impartial, and balanced towards Martin. I am not. I am biased as fuck, right? Sorry, sir. And there's nothing illegal about that, because everything I am saying about Martin is true. It's honest. We're reporting on his corruption. Like, the bottom line is this. If you're being biased in a way that is dishonest or that's misleading or malicious, that's the problem, especially if people are being paid for that. But if you are speaking honestly, everybody has their biases, right? And in terms of this, you can view my rants or what we publish about Martin or how we cover Martin in any way you like. Right, any way you like. But at the end of the day, what we say about Martin Romualdez is truthful. It's honest. PGMN, you can criticize PGMN for many things. You can criticize us for being too anti-woke, or being too anti-communist, or even being too mean to our haters in the comment sections. But you know what you can never criticize us for? You can never criticize us for lying. You cannot. I dare all of our haters, like all the people in our comments who say, negative things about us, even in the most bad faith ways, to find any post that we published in the last 20 months that we've been operating. Find any post that was malicious or dishonest intentionally. You won't be able to find any. Yes, we've made mistakes, but we've happily and I think consistently corrected all of those mistakes. We're happy to correct. People make mistakes, right? But you will never be able to find something where we maliciously said something that's not true at all. Right? So that's what I'm saying. So this press conference, if you think that this is revenge towards Martin, you can think whatever you want. But
Okay,
right now we're not even Martin's 17th biggest problem. He's
Frank,
got
I
a
have
lot
a
on his plate.
question. Who gave the gag order? Your wife, or who gave the gag order?
I'm sure my wife wishes that the gag order would be extended all the way to her home.
Seriously, who
So
gave-
she would win every argument. She's right there. I love you, baby.
Bagong hawak bang ebidensya ng PGMN against Speaker Martin?
You take this.
I have, and I cannot share it because we are still discussing what I have with the lawyers. How much of it can we actually put out there? But there's no shortage of information regarding the corruption of Martin Romualdez. So he can keep trying to shut me up, but I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, question from here.
Walter Lanusa from Ronda Balita, Pilipinas. So kaya pinangalan mo ba ay si Congressman Marvin Radio?
There's no name. I said exactly what Remulla said. So wala po ako pinangalanan.
Follow question to Frank Bumabanta. Yung
Yes, sir.
info set up and 5 confiscated phone mo. Anong reason?
So did you just arrive? Bagong dating nyo lang? You just arrived now lang? Kasi we began the press con or this forum by saying very clearly that there's currently a gag order from the judge, meaning we cannot talk about the case in any capacity, and we want to respect the judge. So unfortunately, although I want to respond to you, I cannot, sir.
My last one question.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Marlica Investment Fund. Ano po masasabi niyo doon sa ayuda distribution na
What-
nagagamit ng mga politiko?
Sinabi na.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Sir, Ma'am CJ Aro.
Ano, what's your name and your...
Red Real from Roda Balita.
Okay.
Ma'am CJ, you are pointing out that bumababa na yung corruption. Do you think...
Oh, I did not say that at all.
Yung mga tao na kagaya.
Oh, you mean like bumababa yung practice ng corruption? Yes.
Do you think that because our leaders are not a good example, that's why people in the lower ground are imitating them?
I wouldn't say that because I think to say that it is because of the higher ups kaya nagiging corrupt yung baba would be parang amateurish way of looking at things kasi lahat naman tayo may free will. For me, it's because walang napapanagot. So nagiging mas confident sila, hindi, wala naman yan. And because walang nagsasalita, walang bumabangga, walang nagko-call out sa kanila. So I think if we really want to change the whole thing, lahat dapat ng stakeholders, including the taong bayan, should be doing something about it. And kung may nakita tayong mali, call it out, file the cases, hindi ba? Or help the people who are trying to build cases against the corrupt.
Okay, last question.
Alam mo, Sir Franco Mabanta, do you believe that ex-Speaker of the House Romualdez did all these anomalies without the intervention of the PBs?
I want to answer. My lawyer just said don't comment. So, yeah, I'll refrain. I'll refrain from
Let's
now.
respect that.
How about this? No, here. This is my honest opinion. I think Martin was the mastermind. I'll say that. I'll say that at the very least. Yeah.
Okay, lady, please identify yourself.
Yes, good morning. Mr. Jordan, he asked to...
What's your name, please?
I'm Sandra Forme from Tagline Black. Mr. Jordan, tatanong ko lang po, kasi kanina sinabi niyo po na si Martin Romualdez ang pinaka-target doon sa corruption. Ang tanong ko po sa inyo, sa ibang bansa kasi, yung mga presidente ng ibang bansa, pag corruption ang pinag-uusapan, talaga pag napapakulong. Dito sa atin, sa tingin mo po ba, gagawa po ba si Martin Romualdez na isang bagay without the approval of the president? Kasi sa totoo lang, ikaw meron ng company, gagawa ng tao ng corruption without knowing you. Tama ba yun? Are you agree with that? Sir Jordan, can you answer it?
Ako, sagutin ko. In full conscience. Personal to Kumbaga, meron kaming freedom of speech dito. And ito lang masasabi ko. Ang PGMN, ang pinaka-boss namin, ito. At sinabi niya na ang PGMN is right now on a battle with Martin Romualdez. Ako personally, sa sarili kong platform, outside, ako naniniwala ako, there is always the accountability of the head. Ako personally. Okay? Ngayon, I am admiring what PGMN and Franco is doing because pragmatic yung approach ng PGMN. At this point, hindi nga na-file ng kaso yung Hindi nga nag-proceed yung impeachment ni Pangulo Pero ako natutuwa ako na sinabi ni Martin Romualdez that he will bring everyone down with him. Kahit mga kamag-anak niya, kahit sino, and it is in his character na talagang ginagawa niya yon. So ako at this point, meron tayong impeachment sa Senate, tama ba? Vice President, meron tayong ombudsman pending case ngayon, sinasampa na of the architect. Okay? At sinabi ko nga kanina, at the end of the day, okay na sa akin tong win na to. Kasi lahat yan, at the end of the day, sa mata ng Diyos, lahat kayo, the destiny of the Filipino people is to be prosperous. And I believe this is the darkest time of our history regarding that. Pero at the darkest time is also right before the dawn of hope breaks out. Salamat.
Last one.
Sa tingin mo ba, sir, bakit hindi natuloy nasampahan ng kaso si Martin Romualdez? Dahil po ba doon sa sinabi niya na pag inasuhan niyo ako, damay-damay na. Di ba? So, that's why ang administration hindi tinuloy ang kanyang kaso sa ombudsman. Kasi,
Ako na.
I got it. Sarap lang po.
Ako hindi, maganda kasi tinatanong rin yan ng ibang mga tao. Ako naniniwala ako, yes, opinion ko nabulabog talaga sila. Di ba? Nabulabog yan. And ako, I believe, hindi dahil nabulabog, wala na silang ginagawa. Kaya ako, yung sinabi ko naman statement ko kanina Ako, si CJ, iba yung pananaw. Ako, ibang pananaw. Ganyan kami sa PGMN. Magkaiba talaga. Minsan, nagbabanggaan kami niyan. Pero hindi kami nagsusuntukan. Okay? Nagyayakapan kami pagkatapos. Pero, hindi kami nagkakasuhan. Opinion namin. Pero ako, naniniwala na bulabog. Pero ito, naniniwala ako. Analysis ko lang political Hopefully, bago sa SONA. Naniniwala ako bago sa SONA. Kung hindi man bago sa... Kasi parang sayang yung SONA kung walang i-report si BBM di ba? Ito yung pinakamalaking papag-usapan outside of the impeachment di ba? And yun, para sa akin, ito ang pinaka-importante and mabalik ko lang dun sa tanong about the SONA. I think this is the biggest announcement that the President should make right now during the SONA na ito ang nangyari, ito yung ginawa ko, pinabagsak ko sa tingin niya, ang architect sa tingin niya. Okay? This and Pax Silica. Kaya message ko kay Marcos, Boss, BBM, elected President, Pax you, BBM. Yan.
Okay.
Ako po si Rian Giray from Euro TV. Question po for Sir Franco Mabanta. Sabi niyo po kanina na our voices matter. Question po na paano niyo po may empower ang masa para gamitin po yung boses nila, especially po sa mga tao na napapangunahan ng takot, especially sa gobyerno, para magsalita.
Sorry, CJ wants to answer. Is it okay?
Yeah, okay. Many of the for most of the episodes that I did sa PGMN, like I said, sa sariling pursuit ko yon ng information. But, hindi ko alam lahat. At least for 3 episodes, may whistleblowers. Kaya, nakasuhan tayo dun sa isa, pero hindi alam nung nagkaso. Whistleblower ang pinanggalingan ng episode. So, nag-explore, nag-ask ako ng questions to the right people hanggang kumapal yung information that I have. And finally, meron ng buong storya. That's why it takes me siguro mga 2 months at least just to study one subject matter. And marami pa ang mga whistleblowers na nagbibigay ng information sa akin, sa mga kasamahan ko sa PGMN. And that's why ang lakas ng loob ko na i-deliver yung mga information na yon na mukha ko, pangalan ko, accountability ko. Kasi may pinanggalingan. And syempre, marami nagbibigay ng mga maling information, tanim information, kaya ang tagal ng verification process. But I want to take this opportunity also to thank yung mga whistleblowers. Ang dami-dami naming information na hindi namin mailabas because babalik doon sa whistleblower natin. So we really have to be very careful kung paano natin i-verify, paano natin hahanapan ng ibang ruta to arrive doon sa same na sinabi nila. Delikado po, takot yung mga whistleblowers natin, pero napakadami po nila and these are ordinary Filipinos, Kaya nagpapasalamat po ako doon sa mga nagtitiwala talaga, nagbibigay sila ng information sa akin, sa mga kasamahan ko sa PGMN regarding yung mga nalalaman nila about the corruption na kinasasangkutan ng mga politiko natin. And there is no shortage of information and of proof. Inaaral lang po namin kung paano namin sila malalabas without burning or putting at risk yung mga whistleblower natin.
Okay, so the whistleblowers are the new unsung heroes of our country. Okay, may their tribe increase. Okay, malapit na, no? 11:35 na. Okay, Wilson.
How big is the flood control stolen funds?
Oh.
1 trillion pa yan, sabi ni Tignan, so ilang
I don't
100 billion, ilang 100 billion in the past 3 years.
I think it's much bigger than what we actually know. And it will be impossible for us to actually arrive at the right number. But I think with what we know now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's so much worse. And we're only talking about the flood control. Hindi pa natin na pag-uusapan ng soft projects. Ang MAIP, AKAP, TUPAD, hindi pa natin na pag-uusapan yan. Napakadami pa po.
Grabe. Okay, okay.
Oh, may I just add, sorry, may I just add, hindi pa natin sinilip at talagang kinasuhan ng dapat makasuhan, maimbestigahan ng dapat maimbestigahan sa sariling budget ng House of Representatives, especially during the time of Martin Romualdez.
Question na, last
Okay, last please. Go ahead. Quickly.
Ma'am CJ po, sa tingin niyo po ba nakaka-apekto po yung sa krisis po ng bansa, yung hindi po pagiging discerning ng masa?
I think, most of the things naman that we see online is paid content. Kasi that's how the algorithm works. But the real Filipino people, I think they're discerning enough. To say that people are stupid, na kaya na bibilhin lang nila whatever, or tatanggapin lang nila whatever the politicians say would be unfair to the Filipino people. Sumakay ka ng taxi, maglakad ka dyan, tanungin mo yung mga nagtitinda, they know what they're talking about. And they know why they believe what they believe in.
Okay, CJ, how about media? How credible is media?
I can only say that I promise I am an honest person. For the others, that's not for me to judge. But let us all, wag tayong maging ipokrito na sasabihin natin na lahat ng media companies are businesses. Okay, so lahat tayo, hindi ka naman maglalagay ng business kung hindi mo gustong kumita. I can only speak for myself. I am an honest person, and what I say is from the truth that I have proven through my research and collaboration with whistleblowers.
Okay, thank you. Closing statement from everybody. Okay, before we end, let's start with the artist, the director.
No, I feel, ako para sa akin, most of the things that media is covering now concerns 2028 and the future. The impeachment for me is about 2028. It's political. So to discuss whether it's legal or not, kung gaano kagaling, okay, magandang education siya, pero at the end of the day, it's a political circus na ang concern is 2028. Okay? Ang sa akin, ang pinaka-importante ngayon is number 1, ano mangyayari kay Martin Romualdez? And number 2, Pax Silica. BBM, nire-respeto kita, Pangulo ka, elected ka, pero Pax you, pag-usapan natin yan.
Hello. Yes. Okay. For me naman, last message. Yeah. I find this this loyalty to political colors, which is so rampant and so prevalent in the Philippines, to be really quite strange. I find it to be very weird. I think that if you identify yourself wholeheartedly with a person, whether you're DDS, Pink, loyalist, etc. Because in the United States, they do it by ideology, right? Like whether you're left-wing, right-wing, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, somewhere in the middle, because there's beliefs that they hold. And based on where you stand in the political spectrum, whether you're left, right, or center, that's what will determine your economic stance on gun control, sexuality, gender, immigration, et cetera, et cetera. Here in the Philippines, we find ourselves being loyal to politicians, people, the personalities, and we get into fights with our family members because of the loyalty that we have to, you know, Lenny Robredo or President Duterte or the Marcoses or whoever for that matter. I'm not referring to the three families that I just mentioned, but just in general, I know most of these politicians. I know most of them, and most of them don't care about you. They don't care about you. So being loyal to them as people, I find that to be very foolish. You know, be loyal to policies. Be loyal to policies. What do you believe in terms of education, infrastructure, you know, the future for your children, safety, you know, all that stuff. Be loyal to those specific policies instead of specific people who are spectacularly flawed, you know? And that you will defend them to the death no matter how wrong they are, or you will protect them to the high heaven, or you will attack the enemy to the high heavens, all the way to hell, if just because you're aligned with one, with another political personality. So I guess one last thing is, you know, just for Filipino politics, I wish that the mindset would change. Don't be loyal to the personalities. They don't care about you. Be loyal to policies. Yeah.
I just want to thank everyone for your patience. I know you're disappointed that we did not talk about the case, and I was very strict about it. But please do understand that we are prohibited from talking about the ongoing case before the court. But what I can say is that from the time of the arrest until now, my clients, my friends, have been unfairly depicted by media, by social media, by paid trolls of who they are, because they're really not that, you know. And now is the time that we are pushing back. We are filing cases against those who speak lies against Franco, those who make bastos, CJ. We are going after you. We are filing criminal cases against you.
But you can say whatever you want about Jordan.
But no, Jordan is covered and protected too. But we are preparing for cyber libel cases, even for troll accounts. So keyboard warriors, watch out. So yun lang.
For me naman, when I left the media world, the politica and media world, back in 2023, I really just want to be a mom. I had my kid via IUI, that's a sperm donor, because I have so much love to give. I really just want to be a mom, raise her, and witness everything that she's doing. Every night, we pray. She's 3 now. She just turned 3. Every night, we pray. And every night, meron kaming story time. And kapag nagagalit ako sa kanya, you know what she asks me? Mommy, are you happy? Lagi niyang tinatanong. That's her gauge of whether or not, I think it's her way of asking, Mommy, do you love me? So she always asks me, Mommy, are you happy? So I always tell her, of course, I am happy that you're my daughter, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, you know, when I hug her at night, I just see the future that I want for the country talaga. I've been playing with this kasi she has this thing na every time I leave na hindi siya kasama. Kasi kasama ko siya palagi. When I was starting with PGMN, every day kasama ko siya to the point that she started calling Franco Dada because his kids call him Dada. But, lagi siya nagiiwan ng mga little things like drawing niya or her toys in my pockets. And that's her way of saying, Mommy, come back. Ang daming threat, especially when we were working on the episode, no, pagdating sa mga politiko, palagi may threat, palaging may nakakatakot. And every day, I'm thankful that I get to go home to her. I get to sleep with a clean conscience. And my only wish talaga, or my only goal right now, is to give her a really good future. Kapag nanay ka, alam mo yon. Alam mo kung gaano ka gusto mo na mabigyan ng magandang kinabukasan yung anak mo. And the world, a good world where she can grow up or he can grow up, yung mga anak natin. Interestingly, karamihan ng mga vloggers, influencers, na sumisira sa akin, walang mga anak. I'm sorry, pangit din sila. Pero wala silang anak. And I'm sorry. Okay, I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. No, but, kasi nalulungkot yung mga nasa harap. But, kapag nagkaroon ka na ng anak, kapag naramdaman mo na yung extension ng sarili mo, what God created you to do, it becomes bigger than yourself. And I want to raise my kid to be very proud of me. I want to raise her to be this kind of person na gusto lang gumawa ng tama. That's my motivation. You know, I've said it before. Lahat naman tayo mamamatay eventually, di ba? But the worst death for me would be to die and then napunta ka sa impyerno kasama mo yung mga politiko. My gosh! Hindi ka pa iniwan hanggang sa impyerno kasama mo sila. Di ba magpakabait ka na lang? Ako, yun talaga yung goal ko in life.
Thank you. Okay, as your moderator, allow me this closing statement. Kasi you mentioned about the elections on 2028. I pray and I hope that the voters will become more intelligent. Yun lang po. On that note, I would like to thank all of you for coming, and remember, this is not a press con but a media forum.
Hey, you're an incredible moderator. Like, very
Thank you very
engaging. And
much.
also
Thank
to
you
the
very
media, thank you. We actually were worried that some of you might be a little combative or antagonistic, but thank you for being very kind. We appreciate you guys. Take care. See you. Bye-bye.